Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel with a brand new video, and if those of you are new on my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Once you subscribed to my channel, do not forget to click on this bell icon in order to get notifications about my latest videos. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. First step is to download all of the project's files and softwares. Let's start downloading the same one by one. So downloading step is done, and all of the downloads are in my downloads folder of my system. So let's bring those downloaded projects, files and softwares out on the desktop. Now I'm extracting here all of the project's files one by one, and, after extracting those, we'll delete the original one. I'm arranging here all of the project's files and softwares to use them one by one for my next step. As you can see here now on my desktop, I have all of the project's files and softwares are ready to use. One more file is required, that is from the project Opencore 0.6.1 release. Inside the docs folder, it is the sample.plist file. Don't use the original file, copy it and use duplicate file. It's time to download the macOS full installation package, which is of 8.75 GB in size. To download this, I'm using here, GenSMBIOS project. You will see the following files inside. Right-click the GenSMBIOS, and choose Run as Administrator, which is the Windows batch file. You may get a pop-up warning such as the one on the screen right now. To allow this, click on the More Info link in the window, then click on Run Anyway. As you can see here, Python 3 was not found installed in this computer message, asking for would you like to download it now. Type letter Y for yes to download. Now you'll see a list of entries in the terminal. The current version shown is macOS Catalina 10.15.7, 19H2. Choose the latest version first if you think it'll run on your system. You can download others as well, but note that each download is more than 5 GB in size and will take some time, depending on your internet speeds. Here I have opted number 1 option for downloading the current version of macOS Catalina 10.15.7, 19H2. which is of 8.75 GB in size. Now to select, and download, the current version, type number 1 option. And hit the Enter key to start the downloading. When you start downloading the OS, the progress for each item is listed along with time remaining for larger downloads. As you can see here, all of the 11 items is downloaded successfully. It means complete macOS installation package is downloaded. This is the path of the macOS files saved to. Press Enter key to return to main menu. Press letter Q to exit from the terminal. Now there is no need of this GIB macOS project. After the download process is completed, you will see new folder called macOS download under the GIB macOS master folder. Here is the folder, macOS downloads, in which you will find all of the macOS installation files. Let me show you the size of this folder, which is 8.15 GB. Here you'll need to navigate to subdirectory macOS downloads, public release, 10.15.7 macOS Catalina is the main folder in which you will find all of the files required to make our full macOS Catalina USB installer. Next, as you can see here, this space system.tmg file, and the size of this file is 475 megabytes, which is required for our next step. It's time to show you how to make a full macOS Catalina USB installer. Here, now I'm going to use our next software, which is the boot disk utility downloaded earlier. Run boot disk utility, click yes. As you can see here, my USB scan disk Ultra 28.64 GB with letter assigned F, is the flash disk appears in destination disk, which is currently connected with this laptop. Now click on the Tools tab, and select the option, Extract HFS plus Partition from DMG files, to extract 4.hfs file. Now select the base system.amg file for extraction. Click Open. Now select Path to Save Image File. Here I'm selecting Path to Save Image File on desktop. As you can see here, process of extracting 4.hfs image file is started. As you can see here on desktop, 4.hfs image file got extracted, and the size of this image file is 1.87 GB. Before proceeding further, please check your taskbar for this confirmation box to click on OK. Select your USB flash disk that appears in boot disk utility, then click Format Disk. You will be greeted with this warning. Click OK. Boot disk utility will now start to format and partition your USB drive. You will also see Clover Bootloader being downloaded and installed. Please note here, make sure your PC is connected to the internet to let boot disk utility download and install the latest Clover Bootloader. We are not going to use the Clover Bootloader in this video, so don't worry. As you can see here, formatting is done. You will get this window. Do you want to format it? No, cancel it. After finish formatting, click USB flash in boot disk utility. It will create two partitions, 200 MB FAT32 for Clover, and 28.45 GB blank no name. Let me show you here, in this PC. As you can see here that only one partition is visible, which is of 200 MB FAT32 created by boot disk utility with name BDU, and other partition is not visible here. You can check both of the partitions in disk management utility. Here in disk management utility, as you can see disk 1, which is my USB flash disk, of 28.64 GB with the two partitions, created by boot disk utility, and both are visible here. Second partition is not visible because it is formatted with Apple file system, that is, HFS+, and Windows 10 is not able to read and write Apple file system. Next we need to write base system to USB. For this, highlight partition 2, the bigger partition, select restore and navigate to 4.hfs image file, which is already saved on desktop here, select it, and click open, then click yes, to restore to the USB's second partition. Now here as you can see second partition size is changed from 28.45 GB to 1.87 GB, after restoring the 4.hfs image file, which is of 1.87 GB in size. So, to increase the size of second partition, to use unallocated space here, I'm going to use our next software, which is the Paragon Partition Manager. As you can see here, disk 1 is my SanDisk Ultra USB device, 26.57 GB is my unallocated space. I want to merge it with middle partition. For this simply click and drag to resize partition. I'm going to use the complete unallocated space. Click resize now. Close this software, Paragon Partition Manager now. As you can see here, the size of the second partition is increased to 28.45 GB, so now we can utilize this space to add other macOS installations files in our next step. At this stage, second partition becomes bootable macOS base system. But you can't do installation at this stage. Here I recommend you guys to watch this video till the end without skipping the video, otherwise you will skip important information, and things will not become clear to you. Let's move to our next step. Let's see if the second partition of USB flash disk is visible or not. To make second partition visible, of USB flash disk, which is the Apple partition with the HFS Plus file system, in Windows 10 environment. Now I'm going to use here, my next software, which is the HFS Plus for Windows. Let me install this software first, then I will let you know that, what is the use of this software. Please note, this software is a 10 days trial version software but fully functionable. Click next to continue to use it. Click yes to restart your system now, for the configuration changes to take place required by this software. Okay, so I have restarted my system already here. Now I'm going to run this software. As you can see here that macOS Space System, which is the second partition of our USB flash disk, which is also called the Apple partition, and you will be able to see the mounted status of this partition also. I'm going to mount this volume here, then it will be visible to me and also get the access to read and write to this volume in Windows 10 environment. You can check the mounted status here, which is now changed. As you can see here that macOS Space System partition is now visible to me. Next step is to add macOS Catalina version 10.15.7 installation files in the mounted partition. Go to the gib macOS master subdirectory, that is the macOS downloads, and navigate to the directory, where the full list of installation files downloaded earlier. Create a folder called Shared Support here. And copy the following files to that folder. After the copy is complete, rename the following .pkg file to .dmg file. Click Yes. Open up install.info.plist in Notepad. And replace this with this. That's it, and select the option to save this file. And close this Notepad file. Let me show you the size of this folder first, and the size is 7.67 gigabytes. Now copy the shared support folder which you've created to the second partition, which is the macOS Space System of USB flash disk, and navigate to install macOS catalina.app folder and paste it inside the contents folder. That's it guys, this is the second partition macOS Space System, which is the Apple partition, and this is the first partition of 200 megabytes FAT32, in which we will install Opencore Bootloader in the next part of this video. Select all of the contents of this partition and delete it because currently Clover Bootloader is installed. At this stage, and in this part of the video, our USB flash disk is created with macOS Catalina version 10.15.7 full installer. And now you can close this software, which is the HFS Plus, for Windows, and unmount the second partition of the USB flash disk before closing the software. This is the part 1 of the video completed here, in which you have seen number 1. How to download macOS full flash drive based installation package, not the recovery image. Number 2. How to make a full macOS Catalina version opted 10.15.7, 19H2, which is of 8.75 GB in size USB installer.